Willie D. Live.
And some of the people who actually know the answers are not going to do anything about it. They know the answers, and they're not going to put the effort in to come up with the solution. You know, and to your point about how people in other parts of the world are poor, but they're not violent. They don't become criminals. Yeah. Man, I lived in Azerbaijan, and I saw that firsthand. Mm-hmm. A lot of times you have to travel. You got to get outside of the U.S.
Mm-hmm. Was you in Baku?
I was in Baku.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And for example, so Baku at the time was a city of 4,000 people. Okay. I mean, 4 million people.
Okay.
By comparison, Houston have about 4 million people, right? Mm-hmm. At that time. Around that time, Houston was averaging about 15 murders a week.
Okay, that's a lot.
By comparison, Baku was averaging about 1 murder a month. A month.
Right.
And when it did happen, it was usually something domestic, right?
Yeah.
Husband and wife got into it or something like that, But you would not see all this crime and stuff going on. Like women, I would see women walking the street sometimes at 2:00 a.m., 4:00. Maybe I'm coming from a club or some event.
Yeah.
And I would see, we're going. We might be like on the countryside or something. Mm-hmm. Man, you could see women just walking down the street at 2:00 in the morning, 3:00 in the morning, fully dressed in provocative clothes and everything. Yeah. The clothes are contoured, and they nobody would try to harm them. They did not have rapes and all that shit going on. Mm-hmm. In the U.S., you know how that go.
Yeah, yeah.
And I would see men lining the streets, like we'd have like Mexicans primarily in Houston lining the streets, like at not lining the streets, but lined up at Home Depot or the gas station or whatever. You might see a cluster of 20 men or so.
Yeah.
But in Baku, that would be hundreds of men lining the streets on both sides for about a good maybe quarter of a mile. And then it stopped, and then it pick up again a mile later or 2 miles later. Over here, you see another 50 men over here, another 100, and they would all have suits on.
Okay.
Now the suits were not in the best condition, but the fact that they had enough pride to put a suit on, and they were ready for any job that was offered to them. They were dressed. They were ready to go. They was dressed whether they got a job digging a ditch, or a job delivering files at a business, whatever. They were just ready, man.
Yes, sir.
And they were very respectful. A guy, one time I was on my way home, and I look and I see this guy getting beat up, right? And I tell my driver, hey man, go back and find out what happened, because they were whooping his ass. It was like the whole of the neighborhood was whooping on him. It was like little kids was kicking them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a team effort.
Grown men were boop, boop, boop. And I saw an old lady, women was hitting them, and I saw an old lady had a broomstick hitting them in slow motion.
Yeah.
Bam. Bam. So I'm like, damn, what the hell going on? Because I had never seen anything like that in that country before, right? Mm-hmm. He leaves, he drops me off, he comes back a good hour later and he say, yeah, that guy, he had, he beat up his girlfriend, and so the neighborhood jumped him.
The neighborhood jumped him.
The neighborhood jumped him.
The tribe.
They do not play that shit.
Yeah.
Like you ain't finna, like in Houston, around the United States, is mind your business.
Right.
Dude, jack his woman up in he'll beat his woman up in the grocery store.
Yeah.
Smack his woman on the bus or whatever, on the train.
Yeah.
They don't, but it's the culture, and it's indicative of, the government, because everything starts at the top and it trickles down to the bottom, and we know that a lot of this, you'll have people say, well, it starts at home, and you're absolutely right. It does start at home, right? But the government does not make things any better for those who don't have direction.
Okay.
You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because some of us, we do have stewardship over our emotions. We understand, how to behave in a civilized manner. But for those who don't, the answer, it seems like to me, is not. It's not a plausible way to deal with those of us who ain't necessarily civilized, or those of us who ain't necessarily in control of our emotions. It's everything is lock them up, throw away the key.
Right.
And we're not.
Right, yeah.
And to your point about what was going on in Baltimore when you was a teacher, it's those social resources. We need those.
Yeah.
We need those social resources, because the way things are going right now, man, I mean, we talk about such and such days or number to that person, our days as a society is numbered.